The hardest thing about betrayal is that it never comes from your enemies. I came across that line years ago, and it stuck with me because it names something most of us are too stunned to say, that the deepest wounds don't come from battles, but from handshakes. When someone close to you breaks your trust, the pain is never just about what they did. It's about how suddenly your entire world becomes unfamiliar. In the next few minutes, let's walk through a human story, a story about heartbreak, healing, and the slow work of rebuilding trust. It weaves together the timeless myth of Psyche and Eros, the philosophy of Boethius and Martha Nussbaum, and the very modern, very real experience of a woman named Sarah. Sarah ran a growing startup with someone she considered not just a partner, but a friend. They shared strategy calls and late-night worries. They celebrated wins and weathered the slow seasons. Until one day, she logged in and saw the balances. 0, gone. The 6 figures they'd raised and worked for had been siphoned away. The betrayal didn't hit like a single punch. It hit in waves. The money was one part, but the true wound was knowing this wasn't a one-time mistake. It had been planned, concealed, executed in silence. In the days that followed, Sarah found herself unable to choose what to eat. She forgot how to sleep. The world felt altered. Neuroscience shows that betrayal lights up the same pain centers in the brain as physical injury, so when she described it as an ache in her chest, she wasn't being metaphorical, but betrayal doesn't stay in one corner of your life. Sarah moved back home at 35, sharing a room with childhood posters still on the wall. She started second-guessing everyone, friends, colleagues, even her boyfriend. When someone you trust betrays you, it doesn't just taint that one relationship, it shakes your belief in your own instincts. Anger came quickly, rage even. But beneath it, there was a quieter voice asking painful questions. Was I blind? Was I too trusting? Am I bad at reading people? Philosopher Martha Nussbaum suggests that betrayal wounds us in part because it makes us feel humiliated, like we missed something obvious, like we were made fools of. That humiliation quickly morphs into anger and from there into revenge fantasies. Sarah had them too, exposing her partner publicly, ruining his name. But the more she imagined it, the smaller she felt. The anger wasn't healing, it was preserving the injury. Time bent strangely in those weeks. Whole days vanished into numbness. But tiny moments, the last laugh they shared, the day the contract was signed, stood in perfect clarity. Psychologists call this disorientation, the mind's way of adapting to shattered assumptions. It's as if your internal compass has spun wildly and all your previous truths feel suddenly suspect. This inner wandering echoes the myth of Psyche. After breaking Eros's trust, she's not punished with fire or fury, but with confusion. She loses her place in the world. And yet her story is not about punishment, it's about transformation. Psyche's first task is to sort a mountain of mixed seeds. It seems impossible, and that's the point. Rebuilding trust can feel that way. You sit in front of the chaos, heartbroken, not even knowing where to begin, and still, you begin. For Psyche, the help came from ants. Tiny creatures doing what she couldn't. The part of the myth whispers something important. You don't have to heal alone. Sometimes others help carry what you can't. The next task, gathering golden wool from wild, violent rams, teaches another truth. There's danger in charging ahead in trying to force reconciliation or healing. Psyche learns to wait, to watch, to gather wool from the brambles after the danger has passed. Real healing often happens quietly, patiently. It can't be rushed. Sarah began, slowly, to shift her questions. Instead of asking, "How could he?" she began asking, "What signals did I explain away? What compromises did I make in the name of harmony?" This wasn't about blaming herself, it was about reclaiming agency. Martha Nussbaum argues that this move from anger to insight is the moment transformation begins. Psyche completes her tasks, but what matters is not that she gets Eros back, it's that she's changed. She's become someone who knows the weight of trust, the cost of losing it, and the strength it takes to rebuild it. We see this echoed in the life of Boethius. Once a trusted advisor to a king, he was thrown in prison and sentenced to die, betrayed by the very power he served. And yet from that cell he wrote The Consolation of Philosophy, a book that has comforted the betrayed for over 1,000 years. He spoke of false happiness, the kind that rests on things easily taken from us, wealth, status, approval. Betrayal, in his view, exposes what we mistakenly built our identity around, Sarah, too, came to see that her identity had been tied up in being savvy, perceptive, competent. Being tricked shattered that image. But it also made room for something new, something deeper. Instead of waiting for an apology, Sarah did something brave. She wrote a forgiveness letter she never sent, not because he deserved it, but because she did. She needed to reframe the story, to stitch meaning back into the rupture. Research backs this up. Studies show that writing about a betrayal, even privately, accelerates healing. It helps you move from endless replay to intentional reflection. Boethius, facing death, realized something profound. No one could control his character but him. His body could be chained, but his mind remained his own. Sarah discovered the same thing. Her partner had taken their funds, yes, but he couldn't take her values. He couldn't dictate what she would do next. And in that space, she began to rebuild. Not the same business, not the same worldview, but something sturdier. This is what post-traumatic growth looks like, not an erasure of the pain, but a deepening around it. Not a return to innocence, but the gaining of wisdom. So if you're standing in the ruins of broken trust, here's what these stories tell us. You don't have to erase the cracks, you just have to begin mending. One seed at a time, one thread, one moment of clarity. Like the Japanese art of kintsugi, the beauty is not in hiding the break, but in tracing it with gold. Let it be a story you carry, not as a weight, but as a thread of strength. Because healing after betrayal is not about going back. It's about becoming someone who knows what to carry forward.